and it was her father that was at my pa's funeral.
That was the lady from Battle Creek's father?
No,
Or downstate?
this one was a Pontiac. And anyway, naturally after the funeral, they had to go to the tavern, and this fellow said he heard that Bill Hyder was the kindest, gentlest, nicest person in Abrams. Well, when my brother heard that, he stood up. He told him what kind of a man he was. He was the most evil, wicked, and one by one, the boys stood up like, I'll stand with Harold. He said, I knew Bill. He was meaner than Catshit and twice as nasty.
Oh, no. And you told this lady that about her grandpa?
Yeah, and that was Pa's brother, the oldest brother.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Bill. And he looked so much like Grandpa that they looked, you would think they were all of the same man.
So these were his nephews. When Harold said that, that's his uncle he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Harold's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Pa's brother.
Okay.
And he said he didn't have well, he would whip the kids with a black snake. Well, I don't know if you know what a black snake is. Well, it's a braided whip made out of leather with cattails.
Mm.
And he could wind that around their legs like, mm-mm. And his wife was just as bad. She would be, hit her again, he'd be telling him. Oh, as soon as the boys in that family were old enough, they moved in with Mom and Pa, one by one. The girls stayed at home and took the hell of them. And that family had a lot that killed themselves.
Mm.
There was, I think, 6 or 7 boys and at least 4 girls. And through it all, the youngest girl married a minister.
Oh.
No, man. Oh, I write that down when I could see.
Right.
I could write that the brothers and their wives and
Mm-hmm.
because some of them I never saw.
Were they nice kids when they moved in with you, your mom and dad?
Well, they were grown people. I mean, some of them had wives already. Like this one that this Nellie was looking for. She was a baby when they lived with us.
Oh.
And that was, well, she was the same age as Jay. And Jay was born in 30, I think. And so they just wouldn't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the evilness of some of the dad washed off on them too. So, no, the door was always open at home. You never knew who was going to be moved in by the time you came back home. So I knew just who she was talking about. And it was Larry. She said, they tell me he was an only child. I said, I can tell you some stories. You might not like them, though. She said, I don't care. She said, tell me anything you...
Mm-hmm.
She said, I know he was my grandpa, but she said, anything you tell me. I said, there was cattle rustlers in the family. There was... Oh, they were always drinking and carrying on. And
Mm-hmm.
fighting and well, they were a rowdy family.
That was your dad's oldest brother's family.
Huh?
That was your dad's oldest brother's family?
Yeah.
Uncle Bill's family?
Yeah, that all comes from
Okay.
Uncle Bill's family. Yeah. And he had Martin killed himself. Cleve killed himself. I was thinking about just the other day here how many killed themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and Andy killed himself. I don't know about Herb, if he died naturally or not, but he had quite a few kids that died when they were babies. And I said, I don't remember ever going to a funeral. I think he just went out and buried him. I don't think they ever went to a funeral. He was going along the highway one day, and a neighbor of his was driving his horses down the highway, and he peeped the horn. The horses got scared and they took off on a dead run. And the driver fell off. He was dragged, and you would think that Herb would have stopped, and he kept right behind the horses, tooting his horn as loud as he could to keep them running.
Did the guy who was being dragged die then?
No, but he had broken legs, I think.
Good Lord.
But she said they used to come up from, wherever they were, and they would like to go and visit him because they had a lot that died, but they also had a lot of kids that lived. Oh, they liked them kids. Boy, if there was kids around, that was a good vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But we, well, stupid as we were, we called her Hop and a Half. She couldn't walk good at all. So that was our nickname for her when we were only kids.
Right. That was the one with the broken hip.
And Nellie said that her dad, our grandpa, would settle them in a camp in the woods, and he'd say, now he had to go to work. He'd take off and be gone for months. No payday ever came. She said there were times when they were chopping up the chairs for heat. So she said he was no father. And but they were quite a bit older than I am, yeah. So, but one by one, but I don't know if Pa ever thought of killing himself. Uncle Jim never did. Uncle Earl never did. Uncle Elmo never did. I can't it's about all I can vouch for.
Right.
Uncle Jack got mad because he wanted his toenails cut. And somebody said, well, I'll do them when I get back. The times they got back, he'd kill himself.
Over toenails?
Over his toenails. Because they didn't cut his toenails. And of course, then his boys lived with us off and on for many years.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I said, the door was never closed. We never knew if somebody would come up, throw another quart of water in the soup. Somebody else is here for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
When did they tell?
Huh?
When did Aunt Margaret tell?
I can't hear you.
When did Aunt Margaret tell? Was it Russell that he was?
Can't hear you.
When did Aunt Margaret tell Russell that he was?
Had Russell.
Oh, is it Edna?
Yeah.
Okay, I had the wrong one. When
No.
did they tell him?
Well, the same time as we lost our first one,
Okay.
because we thought of adopting him, and I know his birthday was in August, and Sis's was a few then the following. So he's just about. Now she was born in 45,
Mm-hmm.
so it's way back then that Russell was. Now he had. Well, there were 2 miscarriages there, and they had 2 girls, and one girl was hurt bad in an accident. The other one had cancer. I don't know if she is still alive or not. But Edna had cancer 3 times.
Okay.
So and then in the other family that Edna has, she had 2 daughters. They both had cancer. So that cancer was in her.
Right. What kind of cancer?
And I don't know what Russell died from. Muscular something.
What kind of cancer did Edna have?
Oh, all kinds.
Oh.
Yeah, she had 3 different times she was told she had cancer.
Oh.
And then in the end, she was in a nursing home, and they took off her feet because they were
Oh no.
gangrened. Oh, she had a tough life.
Did Russell ever find out who his birth father was?
Huh?
Did Russell ever find out who his birth father was?
Well, we knew who he was. I don't know if Russell ever did.
Oh.
Because I probably was about the time he was born that the father died. He fell. He was painting a steeple of a church, and he fell, and that was the end of him.
Oh, so that's why Edna and him didn't get married.
So Edna got married a couple times.
But I mean, while she was pregnant with Russell, he died.
No, I think he was already born.
Oh.
Because they said Edna did go to his funeral, and the different ones said that they remember her saying, we'll let bygones be bygones.
Mm-hmm.
So he must have been alive yet then. But they were up to when we lived in the cabin yet, before Sis was, they had been up. That was back in the days when gas was rationed. So.
You had sugar ration too, didn't you?
Huh?
They rationed sugar too, didn't they?
Oh, everything. Shoes and flour and anything you tried to buy was rationed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you would get a coupon of some kind for shoes, because I know, well, down home there they got more coupons than they really needed. So Ma would fold one up and put it make a ball of yarn out of it and send me some yarn.
Why weren't allowed to? Were you not allowed to trade your coupons? Did she had to hide it?
Oh. No, everything. No, just everything was rationed.
Oh.
But gas was terribly rationed. Farmers could get more than others. Truckers could get more than others.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you remember the Great Depression, or were you too young?
I don't remember it, but I do remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed that there was nothing to be had. Money just couldn't buy anything. But as to say if I really remember, we were all on the same boat, so I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
If one person had a coat that didn't quite fit them and somebody else needed it, it was passed on down the line. And
Mm-hmm.
back then, neighbors helped neighbors any way they could.
What was it like to hear about Pearl Harbor? What was it like to hear about Pearl Harbor for the first time?
Well, the first that we really heard of Pearl Harbor when we got to the church to be married.
Yeah, because you got married the day after.
Well, yes, but Pearl Harbor was on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and we were married on Monday.
Why were you not married Sunday?
We didn't, I don't know, it was something to do with the license.
Oh.
And that was the first thing the minister said to us when we got there. We're at war. And we were at war. Anyone who had plans made for being married was exempt.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't rush down and make quick plans to get married. That didn't count.
Mm-hmm. So was Grandpa exempt?
Yes, because we had plans made.
Okay.
But he did go and he was examined, but he had a bad heart already then.
Mm.
So
And he said one of his cousins went with him and never did get back?
huh?
Didn't one of the Floth boys go with him and then never did come back?
Yeah, he was married after that, and they have a little child, and he's buried on the banks of the river in Germany, where Granny used to wash her clothes.
Hmm.
They never brought him home, but they figured he died there so he can stay there. It was kind of
I thought he was in France.
Huh?
He's in France. There's one of Grandpa's cousins is buried in France. Unless there's more than one. In the American section in France
I
Cemetery.
think that's the only one I can remember.
Maybe they moved him after the war.
So,
They may have moved him after the war there.
well, anyway, I remember because when Johnny went, he said that he left his little, what did he call her? That's what they called Southern babies behind.
Bells?
I don't know what she never knew her dad or that.
She was just a baby when her dad went?
Oh yeah, just a small baby too. They brought me that popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat popcorn.
It's hard with teeth.
They brought some yesterday, and Sis and Bob were here, so we got rid of that in a hurry.
I bet.
They brought this, and I thought, well, I don't know who's going to come and visit me today.
Well, my mom is coming later. My mom said after supper she was coming.
Well, anyway, I was going to put it over here so it looked like I was interested. It's too far away, I couldn't reach it.
Right?
So, and a glass of lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
So, she got back home then?
She got home yesterday. So I had stopped there before I came here to see if she wanted to come with me. She said no, she was going after supper. And after supper, I have to work. So I came first. I figure I'll come every day and see you. If you don't, I'll come every day. I promise. I'll come tomorrow. I'll come every day. Now that I know where it is, and you're because at first when you got here, I wanted you to get situated. But now that you're all situated, and now I know where to park the car, because I didn't know where to park. Now I know where to park, so I figure I can spend an hour every day, visit with Grandma.
So anyway, the nurses are surprised that one daughter of yours and her husband come every day.
They're going to miss you when they got to go downstate. Aunt Alice is going to miss you when she goes downstate.
Yes, she will.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's why they're coming every day.
Mm-hmm.
But my little boy doesn't come.
Doug hasn't come? I thought he did come once.
He came the other day for a couple minutes. But that wife of his, I haven't seen her in 3 years. She's got a memory like a rattlesnake. I said, years ago, somebody asked me who I would want to live with. And I said, I would take Sis and Doug.
That was when he was married to Kim.
Huh?
That was when he was with Kim, I bet.
But yeah, that
Because
was...
Kim and you were close.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, that first one was a horror. Kim was an angel. And this one is, well, in between terribly. No, you just can't get it through her head. I think Doug will be sorry that he don't come, but she said, you're not going. I know she doesn't want him to go to the cemetery. She gets mad if he goes over to Kim's grave. That's like competing with a ghost.
Hmm.
But,
Yep, Kim loved you guys.
but Lionel said, don't feel bad because she's like that with everybody. She's never been to any of the kids to visit.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she probably is on the out of her own son. But she has her way, and her way is the only way.
Mm.
Now, I think Sis brought one little chair down here, but I made chairs when her mother came out. Oh, you got to see the chairs. There was a set of 3, and her mother looked at them and she liked them. So she would like one, and take all 3. And she said, well, I don't have no use for them. Well, take them anyway. So, and then Sis found them in the garbage. Not just thrown in the corner with the rest of the junk. So,
Well, Danny and Travis and me still have mine.
huh?
The ones you gave Dan and Travis, and you gave one to me, I still have those chairs. I saved them.
But I don't know. I just can't say what she has. And I said to Sis, aren't you happy you didn't get her? Because she was going with Bobby.
When she was a teenager.
Yeah. Oh, Sis said, am I happy? You betcha I'm happy. No, her mother's a nice person. What I know of her.
Mm-hmm.
But they used to come out for Thanksgiving or Christmas and then they decided to get rid of the table because they didn't need a table in the kitchen. Well, you put a bar, and what can you put on a bar to eat but a bunch of people?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's one nurse here who knows Doug and Tina, and the man works here too. He works in maintenance, but Doug knew him when they lived in the apartment,
Mhm.
and they were out there for Alex's graduation,
Mhm.
and anyway, she introduced herself, and she said, "Did Doug finally get her to see you?" Well, I thought, you know more about this than I do. And he had been down here. He was on his way to the doctor's. And that's how long he stays. I'll be back over the weekend. Weekends come and go. He was going to have that little brat down here to come out over the weekend. That's Alec he was talking about. I'm still waiting. Weekend is past. But
How about Tom? Does Tom come to see you? Uncle Tom?
Tom comes and he brings me stuff.
Does Aunt Carrie?
And yesterday he brought me some summer sausage.
Mm.
I love it. I have no appetite whatsoever. So I told him you might as well take it home and just, have it spoil.
Right.
And now Carrie, she doesn't go out of her way, but she's interested anyway.
Mhm.
She got a little excited when Sis told her that that minister was going to come and see me.
Mhm.
She thought, is she that bad? No. Sis said, this is just business. But Carrie don't come to much either. But like I said,